Good evening, sanibonani. Ma South Africa mahle. So I promised ukuthi after an hour ngifuna ukukhuluma ngendaba ukuthi why abantu abasha kumele balide South Africa. But not in South Africa kuphela, all over the world. And why abantu abasha kumele batholakale konke ama strategic positions in this country. I just want to deal with that. But before I can deal with that, I just want to put something very interesting kuma Bible scholars. Into 18. Abantwana ba-Israel bamosha. uNkulunkulu bapanisha bahlala eEgypt for 400 years. And after that, baphuma. Uma bephuma, they were led by Moses. So Moses qale ukulida esemncane waze wakhula, I think was about 120 years. After 120 years, they barotata indawo eyodwa kwi-wilderness. Isizathu saloko ukuthi uNkulunkulu wayefuna ukudila nembewu endala, so that imbewu entsha will take over. By the way, nje kune verse eBhayibhelini uma abafundi bakaJesu bembuza ngokuthi why abafundi bakhe baya fasta but abaka John defana lezo, but impendulo uthi Jesu, you cannot put a new wine in an old wine skin. I think what we are facing in South Africa is an old wine skin, and you need a new wine. So in order for a new wine to be poured, you cannot pour a new wine in an old wine skin. Now, young people must take over because there's a new wine that is about to be poured. So when you pour that new wine, you need a new wine skin. Now, if problem is begane nayo, okay, let me finish the story sika Moses. But uMoses esen 120 years, kunezinto uNkulunkulu ethi akazenze wayengakwazi ukuzenza kahle. For an example, uNkulunkulu akakhulume edwaleni likhipha amanzi, but Moses washaya idwala lakhipha amanzi. So that on its own created a problem, and he was removed. Now, namhlanje kunama issues abaningi esibhekane nayo eSouth Africa, inqwaba. And lama issues now thulwabheka uyabona ukuthi into emisa i-progress ye-country or i-prosperity ye-country or i-transformation ye-country, it is because the old system is blocking for a new leadership of young people to lead. Hence I was saying to you, you cannot then pour a new wine, because we need to pour a new wine. But the problem is that the old wine skin is still there. And into is ukuthi any sort of transformation in this country, it is because there is an old wine skin. So you must then remove the old wine skin in order for a new wine to be poured. Because remember, when you remove an old wine skin, you then have a new wine skin so that you can pour in a new wine. Now, izinto esibhekane nazo. Now, ziningi different sikhulume ngazo esizoyibheka. Number one, ayikho i-change kwi-economy yase South Africa. And umbuzo uthi yindaba ingekho i-change. Sisabhekane nesystem yakudala eyayiphushwa i-apartheid regime. We are in a new dispensation. And uma sikwi-new dispensation, i-problem esibhekane nayo ukuthi kule new dispensation kune mentality ye-old system ethatha over. Therefore, kwenza ukuthi ngabe khona any sort of transformation. Now, young people, uNkulunkulu uma prepare any movement, any transformation, whatever you can think about, identify old people or identify young people. Because kunezinto ezikhona kubantu abasha. Abantu abasha bakwazi ukuhambisana ne-system of that time. So in other words, when you're speaking about season and time, abantu abasha, they are able to move along. Remember, there is a difference between a season and time. Now, when you talk about season and when you talk about time, for an example, when you read your Bible, it will give you something like, in every season there is time. So abantu abasha, they are able to differentiate between season and time. I'm not saying old people cannot do that. Because I am not pushing away abantu abadala. But abantu abadala, there must come a time where they give way to young people. And how do they do that? Firstly, irresponsibility abantu abadala ukwenza sure ukuthi they groom young people, preparing them. Now, uma sebebagroomile, why are you doing that as an old person? You are groomer so that you will give them space to lead. Now, in South Africa, as we speak right now, idinga young people, one who are energetic, who are radical, who are militant, to take over and lead a country to a better, what you call, whatever nento ngifuna ukuyisho. But asiyeke abantu abadala yini umsebenzi wabo. Na umsebenzi wabantu abadala, emva kuba usulidile negeneration yenonke, sekukhona abantu abasha that must take over. Your responsibility is to go behind them now. You advise them because they have energy. Yes, abantu abadala, they have experience. Abantu abasha have energy. But now you don't need experience. You need their energy. So that with their energy, they will be able to take decisions as serious that will take the country forward. I strongly believe if you can dispute or you can engage kule topic, you can call in. But I strongly believe now is the time in this country for young people to take over. Because abantu abasha baya understand that the movement, of the system. So we are tingaga abantu who understand the movement of the system. I am not saying older people, they don't understand the movement of the system. But abantu abadala must then advise young people to lead, how to behave. I mean, look at, let's go to a Bible again. Look at this guy, look at Saul and David. Saul messed up. Sorry for that. King Saul messed up. And by the way, in nature yomuntu, it allows you at some stage to mess up. Because vele ngokwe-nature kunezinto ezirong ozozenza. But kunezinto ezirong ezenzayo eziprovoka, one, uNkulunkulu, two, eziprovoka i-system of that time. And uma lezi zinto zenzeka eziprovoka uNkulunkulu ne-system of that time, you are supposed to vacate the position. You leave the position so that young people will take over. Now, in South Africa, as we stand right now, you need a young leader. You need a young leader. You need someone also was ukubhekana nezimo njoba zinjalo without fear nor favor. And say, for an example, thina besisemanga eNazareth. Ezinyo zezinto ezazishiwo kwakwindaba ukuthi the nationalized ilento i-Reserve Bank, the expropriation of land without compensation and all that. But I can tell you, if umuntu omusha can take over manje i-ANC, ngabe sikhuluma ukuthi indaba eParliament what discuss indaba ye-nationalization of Reserve Bank, ngabe sikhuluma ukuthi indaba yelento expropriation of land without compensation is implementiwe. Because young people have one thing in their mind. Bafuna ukubona a change. And I'm not saying abantu abadala bafuna ukubona change, but I'm saying it's more clear with young people than with old people. Because abantu abadala kunezinto eziningi afaye bayigade, afaye bagade ukuthi abathinta amakhono abantu abathize, they want to provoke abantu abathize. But young people want to see izinto zenzeke. They are energetic. So my point this afternoon is that young people must lead. Young people must take over. We need young people in all sectors, government, not just to government. Even in young people must take over. They must sit down and advise young people. Because, by the way, abantu abasha South Africa bafundile. So what do you want? Abantu abasha aba skillful, aba experienced, abahlela abangasebenzi. Why? Because kulama position aphezulu or high, abantu abadala bahleli khona. So it is time for abantu abadala to give space for young people to lead. This is a season for young people to lead. This is a season for young people to take over. This is a season for young people to shine and do exactly what they were told to do. Now, uma ungabuza a simple question in a political world, who's making waves? It's a young man. So that means system yona on its own, the atmosphere on its own is saying to us, give them space to lead. I'm glad to ukuthi Greta Duguza, a young man, emerges the secretary of the ANC, which is a good thing. But that on its own tells you ukuthi akumele kube kwaDuguza kuphela. Kuyo yonke indawo young people must rise, and not just young people, even females. Because khona mistake esenzayo, we think only men are capable of taking a position to lead. Even females can be great leaders. So let's give young people, young ladies to lead. We want them, we want them to lead. We want me na kube kuyangami, the next president of the ANC between the age of 35 and 45. I will look around and check because it is their time. It's khathi sabantu abasha to take over. It's khathi sabantu abasha to lead. Yingako phela abantu bashada bebancane akekho umuntu oshada na 60. So umuntu ekwazi ushada emncane enabo 30 something years of age ekwazi ukubamba ifamily yakhe aze bana 60. That means you can lead, because ukuba nomfazi nje okukodwa, it's a serious responsibility. If ungakwazi ukugcina umfazi, you angeke ukwazi ukugcina ilento society. So I'm saying, let's allow young people. Young people must take over. Now is the time. And this is just a warning to the nation, especially to the African National Congress. If you don't recognize the potential that young people abanayo, we will lose. Young people must take over. Young people must take over. So bengifuna ngisho lokho, if ever kukhona umuntu ofuna something or afuna ukuyisho different, angavele athinte le button lokukhuluma sikhulume. I just want to read this. The ANC is losing young voters who constitute the larger part of the electorate to the EFF because they can no longer be convinced about the history, fight against apartheid and what Mandela did, but because of what we can do for them. Leaders of 1942 can still be leading in 2018. Well, my brother, you are right. By the way, majority abantu abaphila South Africa young people. Majority abantu abakhona eSouth Africa are young. So abantu abasha bafuna ukuyibona. Mina uma ngiya esontweni, I'm a musician. Uma ngivakasha kunoma yiliphi isonto engivakasha kulo. Uma ngifica umculo wakhona ufile, I get bored. Angendawo ukuthi intshumayelo bezoba powerful kangakanani, but I get bored. And I have to leave. Because angiziboni ngirelevant. So ngamamazi uma iANC and the country lifuna ukubona irrelevance yabantu abasha, angazi uma ngisho kahle into engishoyo. But into abafanele bayenze is to then allow young people to take over. If we allow young people to take over, we will then be able to see a great change in this country. I see bonje because young people are not in the fore. Let's allow young people to take over. Bangalidi ama what you call ama content labeshoy. bangalidi kuphela la khona abantu abasha bodwa, fanele balide abantu abadala. As I said earlier, if umuntu omusha ekwazi ukushada abamba umndeni azebe na 60, ngoba phela yila siqala khona ukubona ukuthi umuntu is a capable leader when he leads his family, when he's able to lead his own life. You know, uDavide uma ezothatha over ukuba inkosi, this what happened. uDavide wayese elento what you call ehlathini, and uma esehlathini elusa izimvu zababo wakhe. Uma elusa izimvu zababo wakhe, he was 17. But do you know ukuthi umprofeti wahamba womgcoba ena 17, wambiza wathiwa akazogcotshwa, and emva kwesikhashanyana esemncane njalo wathatha over and waba inkosi kwa Israel. uNkulunkulu will always use young people, but a nation that blocks young people to lead, that nation is going straight to disaster, because if abantu abasha bengayiboni be leader, they will create noise, they will fight, because abayiboni. The only thing ababona abantu abadala bebambelele yonke into bengafuna ukudedela yonke into. So young people must take over, and it's time for young people to rise. Young people must rise. They must rise, they must take over. It is their season, it is their time, and the time is now. And if you don't allow them to lead, I am telling you, this country is over the year with disaster. Because abantu abasha abayiboni be relevant. Because you never push amalento abantu abadala away. You then allow abantu abadala to come in and be advisors of young people as they lead. Because you need wisdom abantu abadala. Because without their wisdom, we cannot be able to function well. But energy is with young people. So if energy is with young people, abantu abadala must give them space, allow them. Allow them to come in and lead. Let's just take that route in South Africa. South Africa idinga ukuthi abantu abadala bavulele space sabantu abasha to lead. And uma abantu abasha benga leader, I am telling you, you will see a great change kuwo wonke ama sectors of life. It can be political, it can be financial or economy, it can be social. Abantu abasha, they will make a huge difference. So they must be given a space to do so. Because if you don't, you frustrate them. And when they are frustrated, so in order for young people, as I said earlier, you know, there's a new wine that is coming. You know, so if the wine is coming, you then must deal with an old wine skin. You know, the new wine, you cannot pour a new wine in an old wine skin. The new wine, which is young people, they need a new wine skin. So this country okay, guys, so this country needs young people to lead. You know, so come Sabona Mamkis.
Sabona Mfundisi.
Yeah, Perujan.
I hear you're speaking about young people who should take charge and lead. Take charge and lead what? What is it that young people are supposed to lead? Because perhaps one of the things that we must start looking at is if the sectors of life are in a correct direction or are going towards a correct direction. Young people, we always think that they are in pockets of old people and whatnot, but the problem is that the system is what we must fight, because the system that is currently in various societies and whatnot is the one that tells you, when you say young people must lead, we're going to flood young people into leadership positions, but the system remains the same, young understand. They're going to flood the even in government, you know, the guiding principles of government or guiding regulations or whatever remains the same. So even when you have young people there, there are certain things that they still cannot do because of the regulations and everything that is put there by our own government. Some of the things are the things that we actually, some of the things are the things that we had actually recycled from the apartheid government. Now you need to actually correct um, our circles. You need to correct them before, even before you can say you want to. Obviously, I believe that cannot be done by the current old people that are leading us. It can be done by young people because we are today faced with a situation where people and the society at large believe that somehow it is leaderless. It is because we sing when we go to conferences the names of the people who must go and lead without giving them a clear mandate that what is it that we are supposed to do when you get there. Because saying Pundit is young and 25 years, he must go and be the president of YCLSA. Does it have a president? Has a national secretary of YCLSA, for instance. When you take those young people to go and lead there, in 2 years to come, you'll be complaining, saying that these young people are not doing what is expected of them. Now, the expectations, the problem is that we start with discussing names before we discuss the program. Before you say, when we take you to a certain position, this is what we want you to carry out. Then a person, when they enter there, they are very clear because some of the problems that we face there is because umuntu comes into a leadership position and they become celebrities, they become there is no mandate that has been given to them because when you look at our organizations, we recycle old resolutions. There's nothing innovative. We always recycle old resolutions. We bring them back. We call them a mandate. But the truth of the matter is that the times change. Like I always argue that the current document of the ANC, which is the strategy and tactics we're using, is an outdated document because it is impossible to use the same strategy and tactic for every situation that you come with, regardless of the time frame in between. So as we say, young people must go and lead, I agree with you fully. Young people must take charge, but equally, young people must be told what is the mandate, what is it that they're supposed to change when they get into leadership position, so that we don't have the same cry each time we go to conferences. We say this outgoing leadership failed us. Some leadership collective fails because there is never a clear mandate on what is it that needs to be achieved, and put time frames. When you give mandate to leadership, put time frames. Say by this time we want this. Stop putting time frames wabo 2070, because now that gives time for people to relax. Stop always giving a long term. There are things that need to be corrected in a very short space of time. There are things that do not need 20 meetings for them to be implemented by the leadership. There are things that can be implemented as in any time. In fact, the leadership, when it's committed, it can do those things. But if there is no mandate that has time frames on it, it is going to be difficult to have the outcomes that we are hoping for. Emlonyeni ngishaywe
Okay.
yami.
Peace. No, it's fine, Sizo. Before abanye abantu bengena bakhona bafuna ukungena. But I just want to deal with izinto ezimbadlwana that oyiraisile. One, you are quite right. Now, if I change the system, Hence, uma ngiqala ingxoxo yami I said, there's a new, ngizosebenzisa a biblical term, hope you'll understand. There's a new wine that needs to be poured. But the wine skin, which is the system, is old.
It's old.
So now you must then first deal with an old wine skin. And how do you deal with an old wine skin? You bring in a new leadership of young people who will deal with the system, because abantu abasha, they know ukuthi bazodila njani system. And secondly, all right, mandate is there. We all have a mandate. The first thing mandate ekhona ile ukuthi umhlaba fanele ubuyiselwe kubanikazi bawo. It's a mandate. 1912, when the ANC was formed, that was the mandate. Secondly, eSouth Africa kuzosithatha isikhathi uku-experience young billionaires emerge, because abantu abadala i-financial sector yethu bayithathe bayinikeza abantu aba-wrong. So when you are introducing a young radical leader, uzodila ne-issue yokuthi abantu abasha abalide in terms of building young billionaires, because you need to build young billionaires. Kunabantu abasha aba-innovative, but a system that is being led by older people, I recognize. Yingako today we are crying foul umfana wabulawa eCape Town owaqhamuka nento yamanzi okwathi wayiphosa ebuilding, because young people don't recognize them. Abantu abadala, they recognize themselves as buddies. Hey, my friend, we must make sure that we have enough money so that when we retire, so I'm saying the mandate is there. And lastly, you said they must lead what? They must lead in South Africa. Ngithe earlier, if for the fact that you are able to get married at the age of 35, you are able to build a family at the age of 35. That means you can be a successful and a great leader. And a leader is a society. In society yet, remember, almost over 70% of South Africa young people. And who's leading young people? There is why if voice kamalema is a voice of reason, because he's young. Abantu abasha bayakwazi ukuyibona kumalema. With due respect, I respect my president that we have, but abantu abasha abaningi abayiboni ku president what you call uMatamela. Why? Because akekho young. And Malema is young. He's speaking their language. So ikhona into abazoyilida and mandate ikhona.
I agree with you. And lastly, before I leave you, because I have to go. Lastly, before I leave you, when you speak about young people taking charge, it's a bit of a broader issue, because you have young people who feel entitled that when you speak about young people taking charge, there are people who, I'm saying there are people who think that when you speak about young people having to take charge, you're speaking about them. There are people that think any struggle about young people is about them, which is not true and can never be true. Any young person stands to offer a certain thing that we can all utilize for the betterment of the country. Now, I understand that the ANC is not what most young people would have wanted. But now, we cannot, as the ANC Youth League, hope or wish to be like the EFF. We don't wish to be like the EFF, because from the word go, we've been a different organizations. We have done our things different. And yes, we agree there have been faults along the way, along the journey of the ANC Youth League. There have been faults. There are things that have not been done well. But we need to correct those things. And the manner in which we correct those things is that we need to start doing things differently. Because you can't always complain that you are having this problem, but you are not doing anything different to change that problem. One person comments here, Michael, says you can't do one thing always and expect different results. the manner in which our things are handled are what is going to become of our result. If you want a stage managed conference of the ANC Youth League, for instance, you want it to be stage managed, it's going to be stage managed, but you're going to receive the same result that young people are complaining about even today. It's this thing of saying people must be out of certain people's pocket. We're not speaking to certain individuals, each and everyone. And the ANC must leave the ANC Youth League alone to its issues, to handle its issues. It's okay to have an interest, but they cannot interfere. It's okay to want to know what is going on in the youth league. It's okay, but the autonomy of the ANC Youth League must remain so that young people will be able to own even the leadership that gets elected. Young people can identify themselves with the leadership that is elected. But if conferences become stage managed, or if the leadership of the ANC have preference of who must lead over the other, then you have a problem, because young people are not going to identify themselves with the leadership of the youth league that can be elected. Rather, young people would say, "Oh, Asbazi Laba," and now it will happen just what you say. They'll run to the EFF because they believe that Julius is a voice of reason, like you say, which I don't believe he is a voice of reason. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, thanks a lot, Usizo, for input yakhe, which was great and amazing. But I still manage ukuthi I think uma kukhona omunye ofuna ukukhuluma ngakhuluma, but I think isikhathi, you know, bafethu, mhlambe earlier I was a bit emotional, but let me say this. Why ngokwenkolo, especially Christianity, uNkulunkulu allow young people ukuthi balide? It is because uyazi ukuthi uNkulunkulu abantu abasha, they don't get tired. That's one. But two, abantu abasha bayakwazi ukumove with i-season. So now, uma ubheka uJesu, when he started his ministry, when at 30, Alexander the Great wayengakanani? Inkosi isilo samabandla wayengakanani? He was young. Uma ufuna ubona i-radicalism kuwo wonke ama-sectors empilo, bring young people to the fore, you will see. I-problem ekhona that you will always face ukuthi i-society, especially abantu abadala, they will always be skeptical when a young man takes over. I mean, recently, France, Umuntu took over, and he's doing good without even debating issue, geopolitics and all that, but he's doing good. I mean, Ukim, he's doing good for his country. He's young. And I think it is time for this country to have a young leader. I agree with my sister, angeke sifane ne-EFF. The ANC Youth League asikhethe kahle nathi young people sizokwazi ukubonela kubo. I'm not saying kumele sifane, because probably ngeke nilizwe the point. I'm not saying kumele sifane ne-EFF because we can't. The EFF yadelela. There are so many things wazisho ne-EFF. But what my point was that abantu abasha abaningi bajoyina i-EFF because bayakwazi ukuyibona ku-EFF. So yes, the ANC Youth League will remain vibrant, and it should be like that. But at the same time, my point is that South Africa is ready for a young president. You know, I'm sure. And mina futhi njengomfundisi ngizothandaza ukuthi i-ANC isinikeze a young president, because that's what we need. Unfortunately, we need a young president. And remember, See, Palestine issues are serious in this country. Serious issues. In South Africa idinga transformation. Kuyo yonke imkhakha. Iyayidinga transformation. And the young people have the potential to do that. If we can give them space, if we can allow them to lead, that will make a huge difference. Political, emasontweni, how many organizations as we speak? How many organizations, your NGOs, your NPOs, that are led by young people in Nwaba? So, sibona that young people can only lead NGOs now, NPOs, they cannot lead the country. They can. For the fact that they are able to lead an NPO, it means they can lead a country. As I said earlier, for the fact that you are able to start a family, family accept up and place. Ifamily iqalwa zingane, iqalwa abantu abane leadership skill. You must be skillful to lead a family. Because eventually when you lead a family, you are leading a society. Because ingane ozoba khona lapho, they will become umehluko kwi society. So my point is simple. Young people must be on the force. They must lead. Malema can only meet his match. Just want to check this. Michael Castro, I'm going to look so that Uzo was to engage in that. We are saying Malema can only meet his match if we will elect a strong president. By the way, before I can even talk about Umalema Ageko will league. Umalema is old. So Ageko will league. Who will league the ANC. So you can't compare Umalema with the ANC you click. It's impossible. By the way, he's president 36. So but a team for the Michael Castro, you are saying Malema can only meet his match if we elect a strong president that will not be micromanaged and mom. We need someone who will respond. Footsec to Malema, Footsec. We cannot allow the youth league to be overshadowed by scandals and cowards. Guys, I think Michael Castro, see Shohomi, the first. Chief Aungen, we Mike, I don't see you, but ngiyakufuna ukuthi ungene so that uzosilekelela. But nje into ebalekile that I wanted to emphasize ilena ethi the country is ready for a young president. The country is just ready for a young president, whether we like it or not. Laba or laba nomuntu ophazamisa ongenayo la treasurer ANC you click emalahleni. These people are ready to lead. They are ready. You see, so young people must take over. It is time for young people to lead this land. We have obvious. Guys, second qiniso ummeli, so I must engage me. If I can cancel and engage ummeli,
because of young people.
Yeah, but young people are ready, and we must give them space to lead. They are ready. They must lead the country. I mean, I'm gonna pray. ANC is a young president. Abantu abadala, we need your advices. Sit back, advise us. You guys, but we must lead. We must take over. God bless you all. Bye.